Good morning, dear students. So let's start here chapter 16, the effects of pollution. In the previous chapter, I explained you about the different types of pollution. So here we are going to see about each type of the pollution and their effects. So we are going to see one by one. First of all, the effects of air pollution. Then we are going to see about the effects of water pollution. Then effects of soil pollution, effects of radiation pollution, and then we are going to see about the effects of noise pollution. So let's see one by one of all these pollution. So first of all, about the effects of air pollution. So all of you know about that there are in the atmosphere, there are different cycles. We have studied about the cycles, like there is a water cycle, there is a nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, there is oxygen cycle. Now these respective cycles, they just maintain these important gases in the atmosphere. So what happened actually, first of all, these air pollution, it affects these respective cycles, and it creates the imbalance in all these cycles, such as the nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, and oxygen cycle. Well, next is this air pollution. So first of all, it affects oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon cycles. Respectively. Now next thing, let's see about the pollution. This air pollution, it directly affects the health of the human beings. So first is so let's see here that how these pollution affects the human health. Now there are, first of all, there are the oxide of nitrogen. Now these oxides of nitrogen, it causes asthma. It also impairs the functions of enzymes in the respiratory system. It causes shortness of breath and chest pain. So the thing is, this air pollution, it affects the chest, the lungs, and because of that it affects so many things. Now after this, there is a hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon is a very important air pollution caused by the automobiles, and this hydrocarbon, they actually cause the change in the structure of DNA, which may result in lung cancer. Second thing, there is a benzene. Benzene is one hydrocarbon gas, and it is linked with the increase in cancer. So this benzene gas, actually what happens, as the human beings, they inhale it, so it causes cancer, not only the lung cancer but even the leukemia, is the blood cancer also. And next is the ozone. Now ozone usually is found in there is a one layer, ozone layer, that is found within the stratosphere, and there it acts as a filter for the UV rays. But this formation of ozone layer, when it forms in the lower layer of atmosphere, what happens? It is irreversible. It just creates a damage to the respiratory tract and lung tissue, inflammation of throat, shortness of breath, and chest pain. So these are some things which can be seen. Now all these health problems can be categorized into three categories. Now what are they? They can be seen as short-term health hazard, second is the long-term health hazard, and third is the accidental or rare health hazards. So in the short term health hazard can be seen in sometimes like the skin allergies or maybe some asthma, but short asthma, right? Sometimes because of the pollution we just don't able to breathe properly well. Long term health hazards actually can be seen in the example of that is one common asthma. Long lasting means the people they are having the more allergies, right? A different type of allergies caused by the different type of gases can be seen among many people. Now the accidental and the rare health hazard, like example Bhopal gas tragedy is one example, right? Now it doesn't happens every time, but once that occurred, what happened? It just causes many people, large number of people, they died because of this accident. Now next is we are going to see about the next cause is the effect of water pollution. So second thing. So second we are going to see about the effects of water pollution. Now already we have seen that how there are the different sources which cause the water pollution, in which we have seen about the domestic waste, means the water which is being drained from the every house and through the sewage is draining the different water bodies, right? Even from the agricultural land, from the industries, and then after that we have seen it is like in the form of oil spill, nuclear reactor. Now these are the different sources we have seen. Now what happens here? First of all, these water pollution which cause, so first of all they causes or they affect the microorganisms. They affect the microorganisms. Now these microorganisms are very important part in the food chain. If you find in the ocean and the sea, the microorganisms like the phytoplanktons and the zooplanktons, they actually provide the feed for the small fish, and the small fish are the feed for the bigger one. So this is how actually these microorganisms, they create the first that part in the food chain and creates a very important part. But what happened because of the water pollution, all the microorganisms in the fresh water and the sea and ocean also, they are destroyed and it affects the whole food chain. Next is the chemical toxicants. Now there are so many toxics are there, and what happened? It permanently pollutes the water. So toxics. Now what are the toxics? Toxics actually are the poisons. Toxic means poisons. So many chemicals which contains this toxic means the poison. So what happens? In the water contains large amount of toxic, so that water is unfit for anything, right? Even what happened, all the creatures, aquatic life has been affected by this toxic. Next thing is it affects the human health. Now all of you know so usually what happens, the fresh water, the water is being consumed by the human beings, and when these water are polluted or may contain the toxic or the chemicals, so it affects the human health. Well, there are so many diseases can be seen which are known as the waterborne diseases. Example, there is a hepatitis. Hepatitis is caused by the microbes, and the microbes which cause the diseases are known as the pathogens. So hepatitis, diarrhea, cholera, then typhoid. Now these are some important diseases which has been caused by these pathogens. So these are the some effects of water pollution. Now let's move to some effects on the human beings. Now because these water water pollution contains different types of chemicals. So let's see here that how these water pollution which contains the chemicals, how it affects the human health. So all of you just as I am teaching you, you just check your book also. So you will find here the chemicals of effects of chemical on the human health. So there is a fluoride. Fluoride is the one element, the one substance can be found in the water in a form of pollution. Now this fluoride actually causes fluorosis, humped back, stiffness of the bones, joints and dental fluorosis. Then the polluted water also contains lead. Lead is a toxic and which affects the whole nervous system. It can damage the brain. Next is pesticides. Pesticides can cause the tumors and chromosomal alteration, then brain damage and impotency. Cancer can be caused by pesticides. Next is the arsenic. Arsenic usually is a toxic, it is a poison. And even a mild dose of this arsenic can cause nausea, vomiting, stomach burns. So this is how. And another one is a mercury. Mercury is a very common substance, and when it pollutes the water, found in the water and through the water as it gets in the human body, so it can damage the whole nervous system. It can lead to the insomnia, tremors, bleeding of gums. So these are the important diseases can be seen which are actually the result of these harmful chemicals. Now next we are going to see about the effects of soil pollution. Now next is the soil pollution. Now here all of you know the soil pollution. First of all, what happens wherever the garbage is dumped, you can find from there is a municipal corporation. They just collect the garbage from the cities and it contains so many things. And wherever this garbage is dumped, what happens? It just pollutes the whole soil. Now, that soil actually is unfit for anything, right? Then another thing, it just wherever these things actually these garbage are dumped, so what happened? It just spoils the scenic beauty of that place, right? And what happened? Because these garbage, they contain so many organic waste, and this organic waste, when it goes through, what are the organic waste? The remains of the dead animals and the remains of the plants. And what happens when these organic waste or even the food material, right? So when these organic waste, they go through the process of decomposition, what happens? They just creates a odor foul. So that smell actually is very bad. So the whole surrounding actually we can affect by that bad odor. Okay. Next is the effect of noise pollution. So let's see here. Effects of noise pollution. So let's see here. The noise pollution, what happens usually, the noise pollution is a pollution which we don't sometimes take so seriously and we just neglect it. But the things are, there are so many areas, especially near the industrial areas, if the colonies are situated or located near some industrial areas where 24 hours the work has been carried, or maybe near the railway station, or maybe near the this aerodrome, right, airport, or maybe some places near the very traffic, is where the traffic is very heavy, right, near the roads, right. So here usually you can find people being affected by so many things like sleep disturbances, hearing loss, interference with the communication, annoyance, then the headache, general fatigue, rise in the blood pressure, and even too much because the people, they don't take proper rest, so even it affects the digestive system. So these things can be seen in human body, the health problems by the noise pollution. Now next let's see about the effects of radiation. So effects of radiation. So let's see here. Effects of radiation can be seen. There is one thing about the Chernobyl disaster you have studied. Now what is about the Chernobyl disaster? On 26th April 1986, there was one place, Chernobyl nuclear plant in Ukraine, and in 1986 Ukraine was a part of United States of, sorry, USSR, right? And what happened, because it has a communist government, and so 1986 when this accident occurred, so they just have not allowed this whole news to come outside, and the world was not knowing about it. Well, the world come to know after 1990, when all these states were splitted from the USSR, right? And you have studied about the CIS, because now Ukraine is a separate country. So what happened in 1986? There was one nuclear plant was there. It was very, very old, and somehow because of the communist government, pressure of the communist government, they were just running it. And what happened? It just accident is caused, one explosion was caused there, and lot of waste water from this nuclear plant, it mixed in the nearby river. Now from there it affects the whole, that means the people living there in the whole region, and even it had affected the big forest region. One coniferous forest was there, and what happened, the whole coniferous forest was turned red in color, right? And many people, thousands of people, they died there, and somehow the government of USSR, right, they have just tried to manage it, right? But what happened, and this was the main cause actually of the splitting of USSR, this accident actually. And after that what happened, many countries, many small region actually of USSR, they have just separated themselves from the USSR, and now they are known as the Commonwealth of Independent States, CIS. So now Ukraine is also a separate country. Well, even one more thing can be seen, one example of the Bhopal gas tragedy. Now Bhopal gas tragedy, all of you know, it occurred in Bhopal on 3rd December 1984. And what happened here in Bhopal, there was one factory is there. It is called Union Carbide pesticide factory in Bhopal. And this factory was also very, very old, and somehow because these people were bribing the officials and they were just running it, and what happened, and there was one big container, means one tanker was brought there, and it was just kept there in the campus because there was some holidays, and this tanker was filled with the methyl isocyanate gas. Now methyl isocyanate gas is a very poisonous gas. Because this tanker was very old, so what happened, during the night the whole gas actually slowly and slowly it leaked from the tanker, and what happened, as there was a very strong wind was blowing here, and it just have taken away and spreads in the whole region, large region of Bhopal, and this gas affected a large number of people. And what happened, about 35 to 40,000 people were killed, right? And many even were affected by this, even their generation, means people were affected, and it has affected their chromosome of the people. And because of that actually what happened, these peoples were, when they were having the children, so they were seeing they were born with some disabilities, right? So this effect can be seen, you can check it in the book, right? Now let's see about the effects of radiation. So usually the radiation has got two types of effect. The first is known as the somatic effect, and second is the genetic effect. Now what is a somatic effect? Somatic effect means it is doesn't carry that, this effect is not carried in the generation. So either the people they were affected by this radiation, right? So radiation sickness can be seen, or maybe the acute radiation syndrome can be seen in the people, so it can be treated well. But even after that actually, because of the radiation, sometimes when the people they are exposed to the radiation pollution, so sometimes what happens, after a long period of time, those people they can be affected by leukemia. Leukemia means a blood cancer. Then maybe abnormalities can be seen. Then shortening of life means these people, they just don't live long life, right? But the another effect is the genetic effect. In this, what happened? This radiation actually caused because of the radiation, what happened? The structure of DNA in the people, it is changed. And what happened? And this can lead to the generation. So what happened in the next generation, when the newborn babies, they are born by these people, so they can be seen with some disabilities. So this is called the genetic effect. So radiation can be two types of effect, somatic and genetic effect. Now let's move to the, so this is about the effects of radiation. So this chapter is over now, right? And chapter 16 is over. Now next session we will start the chapter 17, and this chapter 17 is also very small and it will take just one session. Okay, so all of you read the chapter, and classes are going on in the school. So all of you come to school, and any problem, any queries you want to ask, you can ask here in the school. So all of you need to come here in the school, because on 8th your examinations are already declared. So many things will be, you need to ask in the class. So until you don't come to the school, you will not come to know. So all the best.